Our first question will come from Jacob Rayburn with the Cardinal Sports Report.
Hey, Kyu, how you doing?
Good, Jacob. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. So, can you talk us through, your first 2 weeks? You're kind of rehabbing an injury, and then you get to play in the second game. So you only, frustratingly got to watch the first game. But what are your thoughts 2 weeks in for yourself and what you've observed from the defense?
Yeah, just speaking about that, the injury sucked. I had to wait a week out just to make sure I can play for the rest of the season and be confident in that sense. But as far as the defense, it just comes down to those single battles, executing on the line, executing out on the perimeter in the secondary as the linebackers. And I look to myself and see what I'm doing wrong and what I can do when I came back week 2 and what I'm doing wrong from week 2. Mainly as a defense, it's all about just executing the play calls and doing what we need to do to make sure we're sound and moving faster and playing smarter. That's how I see for the defense.
And something that Coach Shaw talked about earlier today in his press conference was improving the team's performance in the third quarter. And really specifically with the defense, you guys have held the opponent to 14 points in the first half of each of the first 2 games. And then both opponents have matched that just in the third quarter. And what have you seen, if anything, and maybe what's being talked about amongst the defensive coaches and players about how to change that?
Yeah, I've talking to guys like Malik, the secondary, Curtis, just sat down after the loss against Colorado and talked about what is the reason why we're not coming out fast and coming out strong in the second half. And we kind of talked about how it's mentally how you have to get yourself prepared to go out there and play. It's not just like you can't come out there lackadaisical because we still have a game to play. We take that first half, we're like, oh, we played pretty good, but you got to forget about that. It's over. You got to move on and stack up the next half. You can't just dwell on the past. And that's just having that mindset of next play, next quarter, all that stuff, just making sure we're ready to go. And that's just a mental thing that we need to have just to know that the game's not over yet and that we need to keep playing fast and playing physical.
Thanks.
Our next question comes from RJ Abadian with the Bootleg.
Hey, Kai. Thanks for doing this. The read option has gotten a lot of attention. Oh, am I on? Am I good?
Yeah, it was
the read option is. Yeah, sorry about that. The read option has gotten a lot of attention. The first 2 weeks, the opponents have gotten you guys a couple times on those, but I've never really asked about it from the point of view of the secondary. Like, what is your challenge? It's got to be something everybody's on the look for in terms of a running quarterback, right?
Yeah, just speaking from a corner standpoint, reading the RPO, it's simply just knowing, having eyes in the backfield. You see a back towards you and you see that kind of read for the quarterback, just know it's coming. But it's real difficult, honestly, because they can run it. They can pass it. It's their choice, not ours. So you just kind of have to feel the down and distance, time in the game. RPOs are kind of, they're going to run short routes, but then sometimes throw some deep balls based on down and distance. It's mainly just watching the film, knowing their tendencies, how they run the RPO, eyes in the backfield, and knowing the splits of the receivers just can tell you a little bit more about how to cover that RPO in a sense like that. But it's difficult. It's becoming a thing in the Pac-12, real prominent. It's just a difficult thing to cover, but it's all about eye control when it comes down to RPO football.
And then I just wanted to ask about the mindset of the guys on the team right now. You come from a program at Gorman that might not have lost 6 games in your 4 years, and you guys are in a little bit of a slump right now. What is the attitude right now in terms of just digging your way out of a record that's not what you guys think you are?
Yeah, right now it's real easy to start blaming offense, blaming the defense, but that's not what we're trying to do. Right now as a team, we want to really look at the individuals, look at yourself, take a look in the mirror and be like, what can I do to help this team win? What am I doing wrong? What do I need to do more? And just things like that. We can't blame it on the play calls. You can't blame it on the coaches. You can't blame that type of stuff. It comes down to the players because they're not playing football. We are. So you got to take a look in the mirror and just say, what am I doing and what am I doing wrong in order to help this team win? That's the mindset going into this next week and for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from Janie McCauley with the Associated Press.
Hi, Kyu. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How you
See
doing?
ya. Good, thanks. Coach Shaw earlier was just talking a little bit about Washington State's offense being one where, a lot of guys are going to be involved. A lot of guys are going to get their hands on the ball, and they share the ball around. And so, what does that present for, preparing for a lot of different guys who can be playmakers on a given series?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of exciting as a secondary standpoint that so many guys are getting the ball because action's coming to you, and it provides a lot of opportunities for guys to make plays, playing with maybe more DBs on the field and linebackers and things like that. Different game plans we can do, putting guys in the right places in order to make plays against so many playmakers that Wazoo has, and the a young quarterback who can sling the rock. So it's exciting what we have coming. I don't want to spoil anything, but excited what we have coming.
And looking at the challenges you guys face, I mean, with Davis getting one practice before he starts a game last week, and Connor going through the same challenge, and now you've got Osiris coming back. What do you expect to see from the offensive side of the ball for you guys, just in terms of those guys getting a little more in sync after not having that practice time together for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's exciting. I'm excited for the offense, giving Davis a whole week to really get down to the playbook. I mean, it's tough for a guy to have one practice and then go play a college football game. It's just tough. But I mean, we can't really make excuses on that point. But I understand where he comes from in that sense. But I'm excited for the offense, a whole week, playmakers playing plays. I'm excited for a whole receiving core. I mean, the depth is crazy, and the running backs. I'm just excited for them to just take off this week.
May I ask you one more quick one? Just with Jet being such a veteran leader on that team, on your team, to see him sort of leave whatever happened. He said that was not a very fun flight coming back from Eugene, and I can imagine you agree with that. But he had a really hard day personally, obviously. What have you seen by watching him for a couple of years and the way he handles himself? And Coach Shaw calls him a cool Hawaiian breeze who just sort of even keel. He's not going to be too high, too low. And what have you learned, maybe something from just observing the way he works?
Yeah, Jet. I mean, Jet he's a cool, chill guy, but when he needs to work, he's a hard worker. I mean, he puts in the work all the time. And just to see how he came back from such a hard week and had that performance against Colorado, I mean, he made it. When his name was called, he did what he needed to do. And I was just proud of him because I know he's capable of that. I know he can do that all the time. And just to see him bounce back from that just shows a testament to his character as just a cool guy. But when it's time to work, he'll work. He's one of the hardest working people on this team, in my opinion. But yeah, a lot of respect for Jet.
Next question comes from Jacob Rayburn with the Cardinal Sports Report.
Hey, Kyu, I wanted to ask about one of your corner teammates. We're finally getting to see Ethan. And through 2 games, he's really flashing with his tackling ability. He seems like a really hard-nosed guy and doesn't seem to be showing in his play that he has spent a great deal of the last 3 years hurt. What can you tell us about Ethan and the work that he's been doing this camp and so far this season?
Yeah, Ethan is an inspiration to me. His story, where he's come from, like all the injuries and stuff he's had to go through, and come out and really hone in on just all the techniques and all the things that how this defense is run in order to play fast. And he competed his butt off during camp to get the spot that he so rightly deserves. And I mean, Ethan is a fast dude. He can run no matter what knee brace, whatever you could say. Dude can run. Great cover corner, good sure tackler. I mean, and just a smart player. He thinks the game like a safety. He's not your average corner. He'll think the game and really know how to play fast with his speed and stuff like that. But yeah, Ethan Bonner is a hard worker. I really have respect for him.
Thanks.
Any other questions for Kyu Blue Kelly? All right, thanks Kyu Blue for your time.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
We'll make sure to send out the audio and video shortly. Thanks for your time, everybody.